Hey everybody, what's going on? Sir Venom IK coming to you again for another work in progress update. Here now we're going to take the Tier 9 Polish destroyer, the Friesland. Now this is characterized by 120 millimeter main cannons, no torpedoes, and it does have a 5 kilometer hydro. Not a terrible boat. It doesn't have torps, which is a hindrance. So if anybody decides that, hey, we need to go in here, we need to push this guy down, you have no deterrent for them to come at you. So it's just kind of a turn around and run. You do have the 5 kilometer hydro, so it is a very decent destroyer hunter. So you can outgun just about any of the other DDs out there because you have a 1.8 second reload. That's right. I said it. 1.8 second reload. The only caveat to this is that you have 4 guns on 2 turrets. So not unlike the Ognavoy or the Neustrashimi, they have the 2 guns forward, 2 guns aft, and you do have to kind of get broadside to get that second one out there. Overall, I've had a lot of fun playing this boat. When I am staying near other people, this boat performs exactly the way you want it to. It does a lot of damage, puts out a lot of fires. I think I had a game last night, which I broke my all-time record in fires on this boat, which was 20. 20 fires. That's right, guys. I got more than one. I got 20 fires in this thing. Had about 178,000 damage or something like that. We ended up losing the game, but it didn't matter. I mean, I was actually enjoying it, and it played a little bit passive, and I shot at the targets that needed to be shot at. Once the DDs were dead, in which I had a major hand in killing all 3 of the DDs, I was able to just kind of relax and just, hit the smoke, pop, 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 and then everything else was dying. We had some support, and, overall we got pointed out, we ran out of time, but we were on our way to winning that game. Overall, this boat is very good. Now, Friesland's release has already been announced, as that they are going to release it for free experience. So start saving up your free XP now, because this is a boat that you're going to want to get. Now, they did not say how much it was going to cost. I can only assume that the Yoshino came out for coal for 248,000. How does that translate into free XP? How much did the Alaska come out for? It was about $1 million. I'm thinking 750,000 for DDs, $1 million, and probably $1.5 million for battleships moving forward on the free XP line. 750,000. It's not terrible. It's a decent. That's my suggestion. I don't know. Now this is all speculation. Okay, Wargaming hasn't said anything about the amount of free XP that they're going to get, but I assume it's going to be somewhere around 750,000. Now, this is also still a work in progress, and so all of these stats and everything that I'm talking about is subject to change because we just really don't know because it's not actually in the game yet. Overall, I think this boat, because it doesn't have torps, I can't give it a 9. So I'm gonna go an 8, and I'm gonna go an 8 and let's say 3/5. 8 and 3/5. I think the boat is fantastic. All right, so 120 millimeters, not the biggest gun, so a lot of people are going to want to say, okay, well, why don't you try IFHE on it? I have tried IFHE on it, and it did very well. It was very well. I also argue this, and I also want to put this up to you guys. When you do get the Friesland, if and whenever it comes out for the free XP that we talked about, try not taking IFHE and using something else, anything else really. You don't need BFT either because 1.8 seconds, it really doesn't mean anything. But use that AP. Now, something that I learned in the German boats, that their HE sucks. The HE and the German DDs are really terrible. Because they don't have much damage. So you end up swapping back and forth. You swap from AP to HE and back and forth. And your main damage, if somebody goes broadside, is the AP. I highly recommend people to try out this AP for themselves, especially on the side of battleships. I was getting 2,000 to 4,000, maybe even 5,000 damage salvos, and every 1.8 seconds. It's almost like a mini Minotaur at the way that this AP was actually doing damage. Now, obviously, this was all up in the superstructure as the 120s really don't have that much pen. But I really enjoyed this boat. Like I said, 8.3, 8 and 3/4. That is the Friesland. I like it. What did they do to change it? Not much. Put another gun on it somewhere. That'd be nice, but I doubt it. Either way, Hydro's been very useful. The guns are very useful. No torpedoes, that's kind of suck. But hey, if you stay with somebody else and you actually act as a legit fleet escort here, I think out of all the boats out there, this is probably the best fleet escort characteristics of the boat. Stay with them. You can cover them with AA because the AA is monstrous over here. One thing that I did not touch on here, which I should have touched on, is the AA. This is a nightmare for CVs. I don't care if you're tier 10 or tier whatever. This thing is a nightmare. It comes with, it just smashes them down. I had a game that was a tier 8, I think it was a Lexington, just threw planes at me, and I ended up shooting down 40-plus planes in, the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and he just kept coming back and kept coming back and kept coming back. And eventually he did get a couple of shots in on me, but overall, that guy had no chance, dude. I shot down so many of his planes that he was rendered useless by about 10 minutes into the game. And not only that, but then I followed some of the other guys. We secured the area, and then we moved over, and then I escorted a cruiser that doesn't have, don't ask me which one it is because I don't remember, but I escorted a cruiser that doesn't have very good AA. And I shot down planes for him too, and he was able to be effective, and he ended up winning the game for us because he was able to continue to dish out that damage. So AA is fantastic. The guns are fantastic. No torps. It's kind of a setback, but that's okay. You can deal with that. And because I know all of you guys are striving for that averageness. Well, that's all I got for this one, man. I am Sir VenomIK. Thank you very much, man. This has been the Friesland review, and I love you, Earl.